guys, welcome back to the Takita and Kimberly podcast show, aka TK podcast show.
That's it.
Is that it? All right, I'm Takita.
And I'm Kimberly. And hey, welcome back. Hey, today is going to be a great show. We are talking about, actually, we're not talking about, we are addressing your questions, Q&A today. So we got your emails, we got your texts, not texts, I'm going over the top here.
Well,
emails rather.
Right, yeah.
So we're going to answer some of those questions today. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our channel. And once again, we'd like to thank our donors for your support. And hope you had a wonderful week.
Yeah.
And hey, here we go.
Let's get to it.
Let's
now,
go.
Listen, normally I pre-read the questions again. It's been a couple of weeks or so since I read the questions. And so we just decided just to jump right in it fresh. So normally we pray before we start, and we did that, but I didn't read over the questions. So what I'm going to do today to kind of prepare our minds as we answer your questions, I'm going to read all of the questions that we have on here on the card. Then we're going to take it from the top. So that sounds good.
That's good.
Take it from the top. All right. Number one, is it okay if you don't want to get married? First question. Second question. What type of topics should be discussed while courting before marriage? That's number two. Number three, if I'm attracted to a guy but don't know how he feels about me, should I approach him? The next question, how do I know if I am healed from my previous failed marriage before I start dating again? And the final question, when do you know if you're truly forgiven someone?
That's good.
If you've truly forgiven someone. So let's take it from the top.
Okay.
And I'm going to let Kimberly start. Yay!
Okay.
Kind of give my mind some time to get into this. All right. Is it okay if you don't want to get married? I'll let you answer that first.
I think it's fine. Everyone doesn't want to get married, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think sometimes the pressure of life, if you're dating somebody, you're saying marry, and I think sometimes we rush into marriage sometimes too fast, or just feel guilty because our parents might have had a long successful marriage. We think we should have the same thing, and I think, hey, if you don't want to get married, don't get married. I mean, but let that be known up front, though.
Yeah.
If you're dating somebody to know, hey, I have no desire to get married, let that person know that so they won't have no high expectations of that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
You know, if we want to look at it scripturally, it says marriage is honorable, the bed is undefiled. Okay, that is true. Also, you know, being single can be honorable.
Yes. Yeah,
It's
definitely.
not written, but it can be honorable.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it really depends on your personal belief. Your personal belief and your personal walk. If you are, satisfied with being single for the rest of your life, and you want to just date or you want to just court, I don't know if that. I guess that means the same thing. And your belief is, to thine own self be true. How you want to do that, in the way you want to do it. I think it's all about your own belief and approaching any situation. Again, this is not a Christian show. We do get a lot of Christians that ask us questions, and non-Christians, we're not saying you're
this
Christian,
is for
not
both.
Christian.
Right.
This is a regular show.
Right.
And so I just believe that personally, you're a grown adult, and you can make the decisions based on your life with your own belief and your own integrity.
Right.
And how you do that and how you go about doing that, as long as that other person understands this is not your intentions to make this a lasting relationship, or maybe you want it lasting, you just don't want to get married. To each his own.
That's right. And like we said a little while ago, I think some people marry out of guilt because, they're known for the couples in their family or church to get married. And I just don't think, if that's something you do not want to do, then don't do it and be comfortable in that. Yeah.
On that note, what Kimberly just said is true, because at one point I was in a situation where I was engaged for a short period of time, and I felt like I was, even though I was doing it for the wrong reason. I was doing it because people said, oh, your children need this. It wasn't about, is this person meant to be with me, for me? But I think sometimes our friends can encourage us, or maybe our church, or maybe not your particular church, but your church friends sometimes. I do feel that sometimes you can be encouraged to do something because it is politically
correct,
or theologically, politically correct, but they don't know the plan of God for your life. And so just because you're single and you've been single for a long time, I believe you talked about before, Tracy Ellis, when she was talking about My Life Is Mine, she was actually talking about not having kids and being single at
and
her
not being
age.
married and being happy,
and not being judged,
right.
and not trying to fix something that's not broken.
Right.
A lot of times you will have people that know that you're single, and you can have your friends try to fix something that they think is broken.
Right.
And if they really want to be biblically correct, the Bible also says you can best serve God single.
Right.
So if it's a Christian thing, but if it's a non-Christian thing and it's just a question that you want to know, if ask yourself this: are you happy? Do you feel happy? Do you feel complete? And if those things, if you're happy with where you are, if you're happy with being single, I think you should not be encouraged or pushed in any area that doesn't suit where you are emotionally, psychologically, career-wise. Sometimes you can get pushed into marriage and then it doesn't work with your career.
And then you're going to be miserable.
Breaking up.
So,
And so, I just feel that is something you have to really sit down with yourself and breathe for a moment, and you may not come up with the answer the same day.
Right.
Just make sure that whatever decision that you make is not really an emotional decision, or you don't want to. Most of your friends are married, and you don't want to look like you're the only single person.
Right.
If you can deal and operate and
be comfortable in
this society, and be free and healthy mentally, psychologically, and spiritually, and be healthy, I feel like you should do you.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
If doing you is being single,
then be single and be proud of it.
Yeah.
Unapologetic.
Yeah, and doing you is being married.
Same thing. Yeah.
But I do know people also that said that they would never get married again and end up getting married again.
That is true. I was one of them. I was one of them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So let's go. The next one is, what type of topics should be discussed while courting before marriage?
You want to go first, or you want me to go?
You want to go first?
It doesn't make a difference.
Okay, go ahead. If you want to go first.
So for me, first is your faith. This is just from a Christian perspective. It's your faith, your finance plan. Do you want to have children? Those are important too. Because you might want children, he might not want children, all those things like that. But yeah, definitely your faith, your finances, where do you fellowship at? Those are just things that, are important to me in that aspect. Yeah. Okay,
so I'm going to answer this question in a variety of answers. Number one, I think it really, I guess, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. I think going in with too much, because you can get there and know in 5 minutes this is not the person you want to be with. So I think going in, you should go in like a latte.
Well, I think it said going, and they said, what was the question again?
It says, what type of topic should you be should you discuss while courting?
But before marriage, though. So I'm thinking serious already. I'm thinking in my head.
Right, yeah, it could be.
Yeah,
I'm just
before marriage, I'm
thinking
if they're taking marriage, I'm thinking they're thinking about marriage. They've already known this person.
Okay, right. You're right.
So their dating is different.
They're
dating.
You're right. All right. So
don't say anything about anything.
The question.
So
that's true. That's true. So
that's what I'm thinking.
Right. So if this is new, of course, you.
Yeah, if it's new, then
if it's new,
cancel what I said.
Take it light.
Yeah.
No. You actually answered the question right.
Right.
I answered the question wrong. So, but I'll just finish it. And since I brought it up, if it's new, take it.
If it's a
light,
new relationship,
you don't even know if this is the person you're going to see
don't waste
in the
those pearls there.
hour.
Right.
Okay, ever again.
Right.
So take it light and just be open. I think less is best when going on a date. I'm not trying to say a whole lot. I'm trying to listen.
Yeah, you can learn a lot within 5 minutes. If this is a dating thing,
right?
Yes,
yeah,
hands down.
But courting, I do believe in premarital counsel.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe in premarital counsel, and I think no topic is off limits. If this is a person that you are considering to be your forever,
are they worthy of that? Yes,
is off limits.
Yeah.
For as financing, as far as raising children, as far as your belief in when you get upset, do you believe in talking it out? Do you believe in all of those different? I just think no topic is.
Yeah, and even if it's a blended family, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, you have
blended
to.
Family.
You have to.
Yeah.
Who's going to deal with what? When situations arise with children or an extended situation. But premarital counseling is, to me, a plus.
Yeah, definitely.
And I really, really encourage that.
Yeah, that's good.
So, all right. The next one is, what if I'm attracted to a guy but don't know how he feels about me? Should I approach him?
I like this question.
Okay.
You want to go first this time?
Okay, you want me to go first?
Yeah, go first this time.
Okay. I'm a little different. So that's why I'm glad we have this show, because we got two brains over here. Okay. Should you approach him? Now, what would Takita do? So I'm going to answer this question, and what would I do? I would say, for instance, you guys work at the same place, and you can actually date. You meet in the break room. You meet in the break room. I think I would not, me personally, I would not approach that person and let that person know I'm interested. What I would do is I would befriend that person and get in conversations and have maybe tea or lunch.
I was gonna say a cup of coffee.
Different things like this to find out where he is. And his relationship status, find out, how he feels, about women, just different things like that. I would do that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I would definitely.
I would wait.
Yeah, but I would definitely, if it's somebody you have strong feelings for, I would definitely invite him out for a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a cup of coffee, not at your place, but a cup of coffee, like a Starbucks or something for something of that nature.
Yeah.
In the daytime. But definitely, there was a time where some women waited for the person to approach them. I think the time is changing now, so I think it's okay.
This is a different time. So we are almost 50. So.
I think it's more bolder now.
This
and
is more old school.
if you're still waiting, you're gonna be waiting the rest of your life, and that person might be scared as well too. So I would say, if it was myself, I'd be bold enough to say, hey, you want to go for a cup of coffee?
Yeah, because I would kind of really make it light.
Yeah,
meaning,
definitely.
We kick it, or we're just so cool like that. We should go out for coffee sometimes.
Yeah. And sometimes you're in a work setting, you have premature feelings because you're in with somebody 8 hours a day. But you get outside that building, you're going to really know if these feelings are legitimate. Because you work with somebody 8 hours a day, you might think you're feeling a certain way. But getting outside that building and inviting a person for a cup of coffee, you're going to really know if this is somebody I'm thinking, consider even dating. So I think it's okay.
We should hang out.
We should hang out
and see how that goes.
Right.
Hanging out.
Yeah, and get a feel for that person. Get a feel for the chemistry, and then you'll know vice versa if he likes you or say again now.
I say a burger.
Right, a burger. Burgers
something
like
that. Yeah.
Something
we should hang. We should hang out. Like that, and he might just think that. Just as friends.
Right.
And you will find out as the day go by, or maybe as the brunch goes by, if that person is really attracted
now,
to
what
you.
I don't recommend.
Old school.
Yeah. Now, what I don't recommend after that coffee or burger, don't call again. you already cast your net out there. Let that person cast a net out this time. Say, hey, you want let them have
Okay,
let them
that
make
is true.
let them make the invitation next. I don't want. I would. I mean,
Right,
it's a tricky
because
situation.
guys know.
Yeah,
And
guys,
so,
just like women know too. But I'm saying, let you want if
right.
you're gonna be that bold and make that initial
I agree with that.
friend date. That's fine. But if you don't hear anything from that person again, don't do it again. Just say, okay, this I read the signals wrong, and just turn the page.
Yeah, yeah. And then you really hadn't put yourself out
Right.
there.
Yeah.
And
put yourself
now
out
it just
there.
looks like you guys are just friends.
Yeah, co-workers having
I agree.
lunch.
Once you
Yeah.
kind of cast your net and it's not really
Don't keep
biting,
casting it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just go in a different area where there's
Yeah.
more fish.
Right. There you go.
All right. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. How do I know if I am healed from my previous failed marriage before I start dating?
You know, when I read that question, it made me kind of sad. I don't think a marriage has really failed. I just think, I just think that you learn from them. I think fail is a big word.
Yeah,
I think so.
I don't like that
I was
word
sad
either.
when I said that, when I heard a person say, because there's no
Yeah.
really a failed marriage.
Yeah.
Sometimes marriages run their course. Sometimes it's just, you just don't get along, or
Yeah.
you learn from that situation and you move on. But I really don't like the terminology failed marriage. But what I recommend is that you just take self inventory. What was in a marriage that made you feel a certain way, that took something from you that was negative.
Yeah.
And be mindful of those how you felt during that time. So what was the question again?
I agree with you. I'm gonna read it again.
Yeah, 'cause
how do I know if I'm healed?
Oh, healed. Yeah, you're saying
from
right. Yeah,
my previous failed
Yeah.
marriage before I
Yeah.
start dating again?
so I was on the right path.
Very, very
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah.
Very good question. I just don't like the word failed. I'll let you
Yeah.
finish
So
your thought on that.
So those feelings, if you're still having those if you hear the person's name, or you see them
It
somewhere,
kind of goes with the last
and you're
question
still
that we're getting ready to-
still kind of bitter towards that person, then you might want to take a pause. Want to pause because you don't want to carry on that past relationship to your new relationship, because it's gonna be a toxic bombshell. So take that time to figure out why those feelings are still there, and you might want to talk with somebody, because I definitely want to go on something healthy and take out something negative out of that past relationship to a new relationship. It's just not going to work.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind, I'm gonna read it for the third time.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how do I know if I'm healed from my previous failed marriage before I start dating again? Okay. So, number 1, I do believe everything that ends, you don't have to call it something that failed.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because something ended, you don't have to use the word failed. It's such a negative word, because your marriage ended. That might be a more appropriate term, because sometimes when you use the word failed, it has a certain stigma to it that can cause you to feel like a failure, or another person in the marriage, the other person, to feel like a failure. So when you use the word failed, you can feel like a failure. So we want to take that word out. You can say, my marriage ended.
That's
okay?
all.
Yeah. So that's number 1 for me. And also the thing that it does, it because sometimes when things end, it causes its own depression. It causes its own sadness. It causes its own grief. I look at marriage like, when it ends, it's like a death. It's not a actual, but it is like a death. So I consider it like a death. And so sometimes you have to have your moments to grieve. Now it really depends on where you were in your marriage. Sometimes marriages have ended years before they actually legally ended.
Right.
And so everybody goes their separate ways, and both are happy, or one person's happy because it has already ended.
Right.
But in this, I believe that how do I know if I'm healed? I think it really does take time. some people just like that, because remember,
they left a long time ago.
Yeah, the marriage was ended a long time ago.
Yeah.
But if this is fresh, I think you can look at your telltale signs, how you respond to certain things, how you respond when you hear certain things, not just his name, or if this is a woman asking a question, not just his name or her name. But there's a lot of telltale signs that sometimes we ignore, that is in our spirit, that we know. If you're watching a movie, if you're listening to a song,
right, you could, that's good.
You have a lot of telltale signs. Girlfriends come over, or sometimes you can hear something and it could just make you angry. You can get real angry, or you can hear something make you sad or depressed. I think you have to allow anything that ends to have its own process, and let it do what it do. And don't rush that process, because if you rush that process, you're going to revisit it. So I think,
and not only that too, you also want to make sure that another telltale sign is if you're having guests over and you're constantly talking about the person all the time, what they did or who did what and why they did it, those are signs that, hey, let me take a pause and find out, why am I still feeling this feeling? And like Takita said, give it time to do its due diligence. Let it give. It's time to heal those wounds, that process. If not, you're going to find yourself repeating the same things over again.
Yeah, and also now that we're in this social media world, when you're not done in a relationship, you tend to troll your ex-lover. You troll them, on Twitter. You troll them on Instagram. You troll them on YouTube. Too. You troll them on Facebook. If you're doing things not that you can't see what your ex is doing, but when it's really in excess, and when it's really above the norm, or you're passing by their house, you're looking for an excuse to run into them, you're not done. I think it takes time, but in that, I think that there's certain things that you can do to help you personally that has absolutely nothing to do with a relationship. I think a lot of times people, want to get over it and want to get healed so that they can get into a different relationship, so they can be prepared and ready.
Right.
I think, this is my advice to you, I think the preparation or the healing or the process is not so that I can be ready for something else. It's so that I can be whole.
Amen to that.
It's so that my mind can be healthy and balanced. It's so that when I see that person, I really wish them well. That's another sign that you might be healed.
You wish them well,
is when
definitely.
You sincerely can rejoice in somebody else's overcoming, somebody else's victory, somebody else's happiness. That is a telltale sign that you are healed. I'm glad I can be able to make that point. But when you get to that point where there's nothing there, because sometimes you can go and you don't see that person in a year, and you run into them at Walmart, and something grabs you like this, that might be a sign that something's still there. But you can see that person in 6 months, and you run into them, and you're like, oh, Robert, how are you doing?
Right.
And that can be one of the signs that I feel nothing but well wishes for you.
Go. Yeah,
that is a sign that
that's good.
That you're ready.
That's good.
To start dating. All right, so we wish you well on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we wish you well on that. All right, the last question is almost connected to the question that was just answered.
Okay.
When do you know if you've truly forgiven someone?
You want to answer that first?
I think it kind of goes back what I said with the previous question. When do you know when you truly forgiven someone? When you can honestly, when there's nothing, if you had a thermostat or some kind of radar that judges, it's almost like a lie detector test. When you're telling the truth, or you're telling a lie, it goes up for one and down for another, up for one and down for another. I think there is something that is in our soul or in our spirit that kind of goes up and down depending
Yeah.
on how our emotions were connected or attached to an individual or something that really caused something to happen
Yeah.
negatively in your life with that person.
Yeah.
So for me, um, how do I know if I've truly forgiven them? When I see them and I have no feeling.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. I'm pure-eyed with them. When I see them and I look at them, I'm pure-eyed. Now, I have pure eyes. Like I'm not, oh my God, who's this person? So I'm going to give you my own personal testimony, what happened to me. There was somebody treating me really wrong, just a person. This was not a relationship. It was just an individual I felt was treating me really wrong and treating me really nasty. And there was a picture of them sitting on a stand. And I just happened to come in and pass by their picture. And I cringed. And I did not know the way I thought that I had forgiven them. I thought that I had let it go. But the effects of how nasty and awful that they were treating me, that was very unfair, that I felt to me, it actually did do more damage than I thought it did. Because here I'm thinking, oh, I don't have to see that person anymore. But I passed by that picture and I almost cringed because it did have an effect on me. And I thought because, I prayed about it and because I have faith and because I gave it to the Lord that it was done. And it took some time.
I would say it takes time.
It took some time that I can literally see that person. I never wished them evil, but I still was affected
of course,
by what was done to me. And or what was, well, I guess it could say done to me, but it was just more words. But I was really surprised at my grown adult response. That and I thought I was, somebody that was really solid in my faith, and you can be, but sometimes you can trick yourself and think you're over something, and you're not. But it really takes time. It really takes you constantly putting it before you and casting it.
And give yourself permission to feel what you're feeling. That's important, because I know my own process of forgiving people that hurt me in my own life. It was a process. It really was. But I gave myself permission to feel what I felt. And I did move on. And I think as you give yourself permission to feel each emotion without pushing it down, that helps the process go even faster. So I said, give yourself permission to feel what you're feeling. And then gradually it will get better as time goes on. Because things that happened years ago, I don't even think about them any longer. It's not because I push them aside. I gave myself permission to feel what I was feeling. Rather I was angry, rather I didn't give that person excuses what they did. I gave myself permission to cry, all those things. So give yourself permission to feel your emotions, and as time goes on, you would experience true forgiveness, what it really means. And we always say the same thing: forgiveness is not about the person. It's about letting those chains be released off of you, so you can live your life. And that's what you would want to get to.
Like if I see that person today and they actually walked inside my door, I would literally light up and hug them.
Right.
Because
that's good.
the issues that I felt like they had nothing to do with me.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
It had nothing to do with me, and it took some time for me to realize that. And because even if somebody has treat you wrong, sometimes it's not about you. It's about what's in their heart, their mind, their spirit. Last week we talked about insecurities. Last week, and we're gonna, I think next week, if it be the Lord's will, we'll talk about jealousy. And but sometimes it has absolutely nothing to do with you. It's those inside battles and it's inside issues that they haven't dealt with. And so now I can, as a more mature person, I can really look in their eyes purely and wish them well.
Definitely.
Wish them well. So
that's good. Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
I actually wanted to go back to the first question, but I'm not going to go back to the first question. So anyway, well, I hope some of those questions helped you.
Yeah, and keep sending your questions to us at we want to be confidential with your questions. Send them to tktvhouston@gmail.com. Send us your questions, and we would definitely respond to you accordingly.
Yeah.
And quickly. Yeah. Subscribe to our channel, please. Subscribe to our channel.
Click the bell.
Click that bell. Yes.
Like, share, and we love you.
And we'll see you next
Thanks,
week.
guys, for watching. We really, really enjoy speaking with you and having a relationship with you through YouTube.
Yay.
All right. Tell your friends about us. Don't forget to like and share.
Yes, indeed.
Till next time. Peace.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.